The big questions I have, son, and I told you when we talked, when we were off the air, when we met, that I was going to ask, a bunch of questions, but the biggest question I want to know is how do you do that? I mean, what is the science? Yeah. How do you diagnose? What are the interventions? And I ask this because, a big part of our audience are other professionals. So they're going to want to know that when they're listening. And I think it helps you. If you can explain it here, they're going to hear it.
Yeah, fantastic. Love the questions. So it starts with a 90-second morning practice. So what the athletes do is they do a morning check-in. They're going to open up their app. If they're using wearables, if the team is using wearables, we'll sync all that data like their sleep, their training mode. If not, no worries. They don't need to have wearables. We'll then do what's called a psychomotor vigilance test. It's used in sleep studies in the military. It's how we understand their level of cognitive fatigue. And so what happens is the athlete sees a shape on the screen. They tap it. Every time they tap it, we compare that to their baseline. We have a lot of insight into are they 5%, 10% off their cognitive gain. Then we use a subjective scale to measure their emotional state. And again, we compare it to their normal, not a population. So we know very specifically and very personalized what's normal for them. And we take all that information, the algorithm then processes it and uses that to break down where they're at physically, cognitively, emotionally. And then based on that, it's going to create an intervention. And that intervention is meant to be on the spot or pre-game or pre-training. It's quick, 2 to 4 minutes, so it's very palatable to an athlete that's time crunched. And they're going to see phenomenal results because what we do is we create what's called a recipe where we combine different evidence-based solutions in concert together to really amplify the benefits and improve their state. Whether they had a bad night's sleep and they're under cognitive stress, emotional stress, or whether they're preparing for a game or they're just really tired, the system's going to take care of them by providing this sort of curated experience right in the app, which we can get into, but I'll pause there.
How do you achieve compliance with this if an athlete is, I work with athletes on a daily basis, and compliance is always difficult with everything you do, with the exception of things that they enjoy. They don't enjoy testing. Some of them enjoy lifting weights heavy, but even then, there's some psychosocial issues associated with the trauma, in quotes, that you might experience when you're asked to do something that is maximal or super maximal. So how do you improve compliance? If an athlete wakes up in the morning and they forget to do the test, then aren't the numbers somewhat invalidated if they do it later in the day?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of reminders built in. So the coach has a dashboard where they can see, they can set a schedule, like I want everybody to get the test done by 9 a.m. It's going to alert the athletes to make sure they're compliant.